August 20th, 2026, Board of Commissioners meeting, and please ask you to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lockham?
Here.
Commissioner Gooding?
Here.
Commissioner Mapes?
Here.
Commissioner Ginnett?
Here.
Commissioner Townshend?
Here.
Commissioner White?
Here.
Commissioner Coates?
Here. Commissioners, before we approve the agenda, I know we have many people here to talk about the data center deferral resolution. So I'd like to move that as number one in new business and ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended. So now, we have motion support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next is our consent agenda. We have one item on the agenda, which is we don't have any consent agenda items. I'm sorry. We'll move down to the approval of the August 10th, 2026 minutes. If there are no corrections, looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Motion support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We now come to our first public comment. Anyone wishing to address the commission, please come forward. We have 3 minutes. If we have a lot on the data center, if people start repeating themselves for time factors, I'd like to deal with that. Go ahead, sir. State your name.
My name is Daniel Heyer. I live on Lincoln Place and a resident of Petoskey. Before I make a few comments about the data center moratorium, I'd like to share why my perspective might be important. I'm trained to see the moving parts. I'm an engineer, a statistician, an actuary, and a financial quant. My whole career has been about taking apart complex projects and understanding how the pieces actually fit and where they often fail. I manage risk for a living, risk at real scale. I've run multi-billion-dollar investment portfolios. I manage credit risk for one of the largest insurance companies in the world. My job is to tell the difference between a promise and a guarantee, between a number on a slide and a dollar in our pockets. I deal with these people. I sit across from the table from firms like the ones that are likely to court us. I know how they think, how they model a deal, and what they're really optimizing for. I know what we're committed to the community really means on their spreadsheet and what it doesn't. So I'm not here out of fear or sentiment. I'm here because I understand what they're offering, and I want you all to see what I see before you make your own decisions. The big takeaway is know the devil before you do business with him. No business team drives this far for the scenery. Before we entertain any discussion with a firm like this, we need to understand why they want us. Here's the real value that they hope to extract. They want our cheap land because it's cheap. Remote acreage is exactly what they need and exactly what we can't get back. What reads as a bargain to them is our irreplaceable asset sold at a discount. They want our water and power access quietly. Data centers are thirsty and power hungry. They'll draw on the same resources that sustain our wild spaces and our residents, the cost of which lands on us long after the deal is done. They want a weak counterparty. A small remote county with a modest staff is easier to outlawyer, outweight, and outnegotiate than a city. Our size isn't a courtesy to them. It's the reason we're on their map. They want the light footprint on their books. A remote site is a line item to be optimized or abandoned. To them, we're not a community, we're a capacity, bought when it's convenient and dropped immediately when the market turns. They want in before the rules exist. Move fast, lock in terms, set precedent while we're still figuring out what to even ask. Our lack of preparation is their leverage. Am I done?
You can wrap up if you'd like. Final comment.
I will just say briefly, keep in mind what our real needs are. We're not short on money. We have a balanced budget. We run a frequent equity at the end of the year. We're short on resources. Cash doesn't build houses, train workers, or conjure contractors out of thin air. A corporate check lands in a few pockets, but it doesn't solve the remoteness or the thin labor, the thin housing, or thin services that actually constrain us. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the board?
I do. Good evening. Good to see some of you again. My name is Dale Scott. I am from Friendship Township, one of the townships that is totally involved or under county zoning. I'm a former supervisor for 10 years of the township, and I currently serve on the Autumnal Trees Committee that oversees the autumnal trees. First of all, has the commission determined whether or not the citizens of Emmett County are in favor of the placement of data centers in this county? I know you won't answer these questions. This should be a determining factor in your decision on the resolution that you're considering. It appears that an approval decision tonight was essentially set the wheels turning to create a roadmap for development of data centers. Perhaps the citizenry would prefer that data centers not even be mentioned in our zoning ordinance. Are data centers mentioned in our current county master plan? I don't know. Will they be mentioned in our soon-to-be renewed master plan? If so, how aggressively was the public's opinion pursued on the subject? Secondly, is there any difference between what a data center developer would face today if applying to build than he or she would face if he applied after this resolution was put in place? Is there really any difference? The resolution allows a property owner who shall feel aggrieved by a deferral of action, I quote, to appeal to the county commission for relief to be granted from the deferment described in the resolution. So is there any real difference between the way it is now and what would happen after the resolution? And finally, it appears to me that this resolution will create a roadmap for the placement of data centers in Emmett County while not applying significant roadblocks to developments that may very well be unwanted by the population. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Karen Ulick. I grew up here in Petoskey. I just moved back to Bear Creek Township after 33 years in Tucson, 14 of which I served on the Tucson City Council. And last year we had our first data center proposal. And so I urge you to have an ironclad pause, to give us time to make sure that the protections are in place that are needed. I'm concerned because what we faced in Tucson was an immediate demand for a non-disclosure agreement in order to engage with the prospective development. And it prevented us from doing our job in sharing information with the public. I can't tell you how much sleep I lost and how devastating it was to face the prospect of a power user that would have doubled the demand on our power grid. Tucson is a city of 500,000 people, and one data center built out would have doubled the demand on our power grid. Water in the desert, as you know, is a whole nother matter. But I just urge you to not only pass a moratorium, but as these incredibly well-informed speakers have noted, that moratorium needs to be very clear that any prospective development which exceeds a defined threshold in water or power use cannot be approved without additional time for you to study and for the public to understand the impacts. I appreciate your service in protecting our beautiful environment and the great people of this community. And I just urge you, and Mr. Attorney, please make sure that the language of any resolution passed does not have loopholes. And I understand property owner rights. Arizona has the strongest property rights. All we did was said any project that exceeds the traditional water and power use in a warehouse or light industrial or other zoning, anything that exceeds what has historically been seen needs additional approvals. You're not taking anybody's rights away. What you're saying is that these incredibly consequential projects require much more scrutiny. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
I think I have a minute left, correct?
There's another comment period coming up.
Quick, you could go, or maybe give you a quick break from important data center comments. My name's Carrie May. I'm the owner of Boyne Engineering and Design. I'm here tonight to address the storage text amendment. I've designed 10 different storage facilities in the last 5 years that include commercial, self-storage, private storage. So I wanted to emphasize to this board just a few of my practical concerns that remain after the public hearing process at the Planning Commission level. First, this text as it exists creates new legally non-conforming uses out of existing, recently approved developments unnecessarily. This is because the proposed rules do not target impact concerns directly. Rather, they incorporate large blanket setbacks, height restrictions, story limitations, and unusual access requirements that will act as exclusionary zones, prohibiting a legitimate land use that satisfies an important market-driven need in the community. The height, story, and access requirements also exceed existing district zoning standards for other more intensive uses, along with, to my knowledge, the state building code and the international fire code. I certainly support considerations of life and safety measures and IFC standards, but what has been implemented thus far is excessive. I also do not believe that the Commission has adequately considered how these regulations will specifically limit economic growth in the form of infill development and redevelopment of vacant or distressed properties. Storage is an excellent use of these properties because it's flexible and transformable. If this text is adopted, storage will for some unknown reason be disallowed, largely disallowed within 200 to 300 feet along the state highway corridor in business and industrial districts and in existing vacant buildings that will not typically meet the new standards. If there are other preferable commercial and industrial uses wanting to make use of these numerous vacant buildings and properties, they have had the opportunity but have not done so. I'm asking the board to send this amendment back to the Planning Commission with direction for them to set up a subcommittee to engage with stakeholders in a back and forth manner. 4 of my clients with very recently approved projects could and should have been contacted for their input on these amendments. All were unaware of the process until the week of the public hearing. None of their developments were included in the examples studied by the Commission, and all will have non-conforming land uses if the text is adopted. Finally, I just believe if adopted, this amendment will have an overall negative effect on county residents by limiting the availability of market-driven storage needs and services, by increasing the cost of storage because of artificial limitation of supply, by restricting opportunities for infill development and redevelopment, by creating non-conforming uses which affect property value and may not be replaced if excessively damaged. 1. By unintentionally dispersing the storage of material deemed to be of concern by the fire chief across the county, by intentionally leading to the acquisition of large farm forest parcels for personal storage, that could have been concentrated in appropriate business and industrial districts, and by intentionally forcing significant additional paved surfaces and expensive blanket landscape screening requirements from buildings to roadways. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
Chairman, you have a second room too, so when you're done in here, if you would call for them, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you. My name is Lise Novak. I grew up in Petoskey. I also moved away for about 30 years and came back because of the scenery and the wildlife and the natural resources. I spent over 30 years as a planner with the Forest Service, large-scale landscape planning, and I understand master plans, I understand visions, goals, objectives. When I looked at the Emmett County plan, it was clear what this area is all about, what the vision is. It's wildlife, it's water, it's air, it's wildlife, it's tourism. I also looked at some of the goals under that vision, one being economic, and it talked about small businesses and light industrial. When I looked at the definition of light industrial, it looked like it was low noise, low impacts, and a light footprint. I'm not sure data centers would meet any of those. So I guess my question would be, if we're gonna go to the trouble of having a master plan and getting input on that master plan, I would strongly suggest that we look at this proposal, and maybe it's not a formal proposal yet, but it's definitely on the horizon, something we need to be thinking about in a vision. So I would just ask that we incorporate that sort of thinking into the final master plan. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Vanessa Peter. I'm out of Springville Township. I've been up here 5 years, originally from downstate, grew up in the same kind of rural area. Go to Lapeer, it's about the same distance from my house to Petoskey. I'm just getting started as a small farmer up here. My husband's in the trades. He's been here all his life. We've got 4 kids, all daughters. One day I'm gonna have grandkids just like everybody else behind me. Lapeer's going through the same thing right now. I'm in my early 30s. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. I talk with other creators. You're talking from California to New York, down to Texas, Florida. I'm watching what everybody's going through, especially the farmers. I'm seeing what this is doing to crops, rivers, animals. This stuff with any type of sound without frequency, it distresses all of our wildlife. So everything that our DNR does to protect the wildlife, all the licensing we have to go through if we want to be able to go get a deer like we've all traditionally done, what deers are going to be? What fish are there going to be? We have the hatchery. What good's that going to do? We got PFAS in Pellston. Companies like data centers, they love airports. Also gives them eminent domain. 2021 to 2022 was put into legislation where private companies are able to get eminent domain. We don't have those protections anymore. How are they all funded? Executive order, what number was it that the president put in? Centralist space, by the way. 401ks, pensions that are now publicly traded, that is all part of the investment. Do we all stand for that? Every one of you are for the public. We are the public. Our public doesn't need this 9 and 5 generations from now. None of us know truly what's going to be for, what they're going to use it for, what it does, what are they going to do after they start it, once that ground breaks. How much control are you guys going to have? Or are they going to take it above your head? Everybody talks about Line 5. Yet a data center anywhere in this county, anywhere in Michigan for that matter, we're surrounded by how many inland lakes, waterways, Great Lakes. They're already allowing it downstate, and you should hear from our community members downstate what's already happening. And NDAs? Yeah, no, that's easily discoverable as well. It's not worth it. not for you, not for us, not for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw you back there. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Zach Stewart. I'm an attorney at Allward and Fisher in Traverse City. My firm represents Walker's Mountain View, who's the owner of the luxury garages at Hearthside 31 Garages. I'm here tonight to talk about the storage amendment ordinance. I've been president at the last 2 planning commission meetings, and we've expressed our concerns at the last 2 planning commission meetings about the ordinance updates. And one of the things I said at the first planning commission meeting that I was attending was, you know, it's important to remember that good lawmakers pass good laws, and that's why you guys are in the seats that you're in right now, right? And I think you're hearing it from everybody in the community with respect to the storage, or excuse me, the data center information and the requests that you're hearing from everybody here. And I guess that the stakeholders with their rights and the money and the privileges that they've put into these storage units, they ask you guys to put the same effort into that as we ask you to put in with the data centers. Right now, the ordinance amendments are vague in parts, they're overburdensome in parts, they're setback requirements, they're fire lane issues. These are all things that are concerns, we understand, but the numbers seem to be taken out of thin air and not rationally related to a legitimate public concern of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of this community. And so another big issue that was addressed by Carrie May is the creation of more non-conforming lots, and that's truly what is going to happen with these ordinance updates. We just ask that the county commissioners do what's right here. We don't need to pass something just because there's an artificial time limit that we've created. Let's pass laws that do the right thing for the right circumstances and benefit the community. And that's all that the stakeholders have been asking since day one. So we ask that you do not pass the ordinance amendments tonight. Let's pass it back down to the Planning Commission, and let's further discuss and revise and make sure that when we do revise the storage ordinance, we do it in the right way. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, commissioners, staff, and let's not forget all the public. As Ms. May and Zachary, the attorney, I just heard, I'm not here for data centers, although I'm interested in that conversation. I don't want to get it confused with the storage text amendments that have been going on since January. And as you know, I've been here a few times in front of you guys as well. I'm here again tonight to share my concerns regarding the proposed text amendments for the storage uses. I see the recommendation by Mr. Boyer to extend the moratorium until December 1st, 2026. This is obviously being suggested for various reasons. In my opinion, the reason is the process has been grossly flawed. Someone might say different, but this is what I call the adult conversation. My experience and observation is the current ordinance is not broken, and it has historically been used without any objection until the December 12th, 4th, 2025 Emmet County Planning Commission meeting when a moratorium was requested by a certain business owner. I agree the definitions of different storage and warehousing uses can be updated and clarified. I feel this is very important. However, the supplemental regulations being discussed are onerous and egregious. For example, restricting the historically acceptable height of 30 feet to 20 feet as proposed is without justification. Clearly, no one has reviewed not only the impact on new development, but the additional non-conformities it will create, especially in the industrial districts, and for what reason. And I'm not just talking about the highways, I'm talking about interior industrial districts will be affected. It was not until the August 6th meeting that height was an issue in the industrial district. None of this makes sense, and the amount of time wasted of the county staff, expenses incurred, including paying legal fees to review text and write resolutions. After 8 months, what are the results? All this could have been avoided if guided by common sense and reason. As a member of this community, I have spent many hours on this issue, so I can truly understand how hard it is to read and review all of the information. Tonight's packet alone is 70-plus pages, and that is not everything which has been compiled over the course of this suspension period. The two motions voted during the August 11th meeting were split 4-3 and 3-4, with 2 members absent. Any attorney will agree, when working on text amendments, which is legislative law, the preferred outcome and goal should be unanimous decisions. For this reason, we respectfully request this Board of Commissioners to let the issue expire and allow the current code to live. Respectfully, Paul and Annie Meridian. My position is a little bit different than what I heard out of Ms. May and Attorney Stewart. A postponement, what is it going to do for 90 more days? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Anyone? Sir, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Cameron Chubb. I live on the south side of Petoskey. I've lived here for about 3.5 years now. I love our areas. I'm talking about data centers. I figured I'd. When we pledge allegiance under God. And for the majority of Emmet County, God's Jesus Christ. So I would like to remind you of some teachings of God. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. If you've seen any of the destruction that's caused by these data centers, I've seen videos of people downstate in Dowagiac. They have 60 decibels of noise on their porch. That's not what I want for my neighbors. I'm supposed to love my neighbors as myself. I could never do that to somebody. I don't think that that would be a good thing to do. I think that it's bad. We shouldn't have this in Emmet County. Emmet County is perfect and pure, and that's not something that aligns with our values. I know we can't zone it out, and we should talk to the state to figure out how we can. This is not something that we want. I don't know, that's all I got. I just don't think we should do this.
Thank you. Before I call the auxiliary.
May I just pass this to the recorder, please? Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to.
Mike, is there anyone in the auxiliary?
Thank you.
Come on up.
Can I get that?
Tana Baldwin, Bear Creek Township. I'd like to speak on both of these two things tonight. First of all, on data centers, I think there's an overwhelming number of people who are opposed to them, but we seem to have two camps on how to go about dealing with it. You know, Tammy came up to Bliss and talked about things that could be done through planning, and that's kind of where we're at now. But there's also the feeling of a lot of people who have heard that we should say nothing, or that we shouldn't address it. So I think the real confusion is, what is the best way to go about doing this? Do we want to put something in the master plan? Do we want to create zoning ordinances that can restrict things? Or are we better off not to have it mentioned, as some other people have said? And I'm not sure which that is, but I think you should definitely pass the, I don't want to say that word moratorium, the pause for us to figure it out, to figure out what the best way to go about it is. And I just saw an article today about a town downstate that is getting sued because they did a pause. The reason is they did a pause after they already had an application. So I think it's better we do it now than later. Secondly, on the storage issue, I've sat in planning commissions for 9 months as we talked about the storage issue. And from my perspective, we have very limited business space along the corridors. And storage does not require those. And if they don't have the place to put businesses along our business corridors, they're going to want to push out to where my house is. And I would like to keep it where it belongs, near town, in the business corridors, and not have the businesses trying to stretch out south of Intertown or wherever else they're going to push into. And by keeping storage separate from that, I think it's important. And I think the Planning Commission went over and over this for 9 months, trying to come up with a solution, and I would very much urge you to pass that. Thank you.
Go ahead, come forward.
Hello, I'm Violet Vandiver. I rent a house on Division Road in Petoskey. I've been here for 6 years. I didn't prepare anything, but I wanted to make my position known that I don't support any data centers in the area. We have herons that visit our backyard on Division Road. We have a bobcat. We have mallards. We have all sorts of beautiful wildlife. I think data centers would really, really suck. I think you're going to see a lot of brain drain if you pass anything related to data centers here. And I think you're going to see people leaving. I think you'll see quality of life really affected deeply. All sorts of wildlife affected in very negative ways. And it sounds like a nightmare. So that's my opinion. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you for listening to the public. I'm John Pickering. I've lived here south of Petoskey on Indian Garden Road for 31 years. Before that, I lived in Charlevoix for about 7. I moved to this area because I'm an environmentalist and this is an incredibly beautiful place. As an environmentalist, I think that wind power is a good thing, but I heard a long time ago that we had a restriction of 35 decibels over property lines, and that was a kind of a backdoor way that no windmills were able to be put up in Emmett County. I recently drove over to Wisconsin to see my aunt and uncle, and along Highway 43 they're building a data center, and it is horrendous. It's about a half a mile long, and everything for a mile on each side of it is totally destroyed. There is no respect for the environment. Aside from all the other facts that you know about them, I just want to say that that does not fit what I see as our strength in this community. And I don't care what you have to do, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Goodbye.
I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for all the hard work that you do. My name is Denise Cruz. I've been in Petoskey for 4 years. I love it up here. It's heaven, okay? I just have a big question. Why is our love of money greater than our love of our world and environment?
Thank you. Anyone else? Anything new on the data centers we haven't heard? 30 seconds.
Me?
Yep, right there.
Well, when I became supervisor, I mentioned that I was earlier, I was sent off for training to learn about how my job was to focus on the protection of private property rights. And I hoped, that after that at some point along the line, I would be trained in how to protect what I like to call public planetary rights, fresh water. clean air, the right to not have landfills being filled up by data center rejects after 3 years. They're gonna last about 3 to 5 years. They're gonna have to be put in a dump. So I recommend that you guys, they're all guys,
Yeah, they are. Funny.
reconsider this. Take this resolution back to your homes, back to your meetings, and consider the whole planet and the public rights that we have for these commodities like fresh air, fresh water, like this woman just spoke to. So that's my request. Thanks.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll close public hearing, or public comment, and go to our first appearance, which is the Community Resource Recovery Alliance.
We had it a second ago.
You can read my writing.
My screen is upside down for whatever reason. There we go. All right. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Caitlin Kuski, and I'm the Executive Director of Community Recovery Alliance. And we're going to totally change gears for a second, and I just wanted to update the Commission on kind of who we are and what we're doing. We are a recovery community organization in Petoskey. We've been around since late 2018, early 2019. And our mission is to serve anyone seeking recovery from substance use concerns with or without mental health complications by creating safe and healthy recovery friendly communities in lower northern Michigan. And we are actually one of the opioid settlement recipients as well with you guys. So, and we've really had to change gears a little bit this year, so we wanted to take an opportunity to tell the commissioners and the public about what we're kind of doing. But we are what's called a recovery community organization, or an RCO, and that just means that we are grassroots. We're led by people in recovery, so our board of directors are people in recovery as well, and we work in the education, outreach, and advocacy. We are not treatment and we're not prevention. And we really are one of the driving forces behind multiple pathways of recovery. Most people know about AA and NA, which are 12-step traditions. We also talk about other traditions and other pathways to recovery, such as smart recovery or Dharma recovery, because just like we don't have just McDonald's to go eat at, we have lots of different fast food restaurants. There's lots of different ways to find and sustain recovery. And we've traditionally been located in downtown Petoskey, but we were in one of the buildings that was condemned. It was closed by the city, it was closed because of, it was deemed unsafe for occupancy. And in downtown Petoskey, even though we are not treatment, we don't serve people who are in active use, we are helping people sustain their recovery, there's still a lot of stigma in our community about those we serve, and we were continually told we were not allowed to rent from different landlords in town, which is why we ended up in the building we did, and it lasted 1.5 years. So in the last 4 years, we've had to move 3 times, but because of all this, if you know the recovery community, we are nothing if not perseverant. So we persevered, and we actually were able to purchase our own location this year. So we have a permanent home, we're not going anywhere, and it's still under construction, but we will be opening. So this is our building without any of our signage on it yet. I was hoping I would have more signs, but you know, construction takes a while. So We are open during construction and we are still serving people in recovery. We hope that the community center space will be open by mid-October of this year. And then we will continue to go on into the next phase of construction and doing our administrative wing. Our hours are changing as we start to be open more, but you can find all that on our website and on our social media pages. Kind of what we do at CRA, we offer peer recovery coaching, which is non-treatment, non-clinical services. You can do it in person or by Zoom, and all of our services are offered at no cost. So oftentimes our population fall through the cracks of insurance. They might not qualify for private insurance, but they make too much to qualify for Medicaid. And so all of our services are offered at no cost. There's no, you don't have to come in and do a medical intake with us. You just come in and we say, how's it going today? And you tell us what's going on and we can talk about whatever barriers you're facing in your recovery right now. We offer multiple pathway meetings. We offer a community space that's open for other recovery groups to use as well. We are also one of the training sites in Northern Michigan for the Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative. So any business owners who have ever hired somebody in recovery, which if you hire more than one person, you are going to hire somebody in recovery at some point. So we're training businesses on how to support people in recovery on your team. And it really is more about being employee friendly than just recovery friendly. We just like to frame it in the terms of recovery friendly. So we're talking about how we can support employees and help people stay in their jobs and grow in their positions as well. And then we do a lot of fun and sober events. We're a rural community. A lot of people, what do you do on a Friday night? You go to the bar. If you're in recovery, you might not want to go to the bar. So we are really focusing on building a space, a community space, that will be substance free, that people can come to and build that community and find like-minded individuals and just hang out. So it will be a great space when we finally get it up and running. I already mentioned the Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative. It's no cost to the employers. They get state level recognition. It's just a really great program to help employers and the employees as well. We always know businesses that are looking for new employees, and we have a whole pool of people in recovery who have just completed treatment. Maybe they're getting out of jail or incarceration and are looking for work. So we help connect those dots between, we have employees who need jobs and we have employers who need employees, so let's connect those and get them together. One of the big events this year is we're doing a stigma reduction event called Beyond Labels. It will be Saturday, August 29th, and we wanted to extend an invitation to everyone. We will have a panel of speakers, which include Brandon Hool coming up from MDHHS to speak about harm reduction and the stigma around that. And then we also have 3 local business and community leaders that will be talking on different aspects of stigma around recovery. So Laura is from Kilwins. She's the HR director with Kilwins. She will be presenting. Mr. Schudema, never say his last name right, will be speaking as well from the legal side of things. And then Kelly will be speaking from the treatment and services side of things. So I know that there's a whole lot of things going on tonight, so I wanted to keep it really short and sweet. But we wanted to thank the county commissioners for your support through opioid settlement dollars, and we look forward to being able to continue to use those opioid settlement dollars to increase our new space, and we hope that everyone comes and visits when we get it open. We will have lots of free good coffee, so please come and see us.
Caitlin, could you talk a little bit more about your new space?
Yes.
And how that remodeling process is going? That's not over.
Yeah, it's great. So we were fortunate enough to find a space. We did have to leave downtown. Most of our people don't have transportation, so we were really worried about where we could go, where our people would still be able to walk or bike to get to us. And we are now located up on East Mitchell, right across from the new Salvation Army building, which it's great. It's becoming this human services hub corner up there. There's so many nonprofits right in that area, so we'll be able to cross refer to each other all the time. We have just shy of 4,000 square feet, and it's been a very long and slow process, but it's coming along. In the next couple of weeks, they'll be finishing up the community center space. So we will have a big room that can divide down the middle, so we can have recovery meetings on one side and the community space going on the other side. And then we'll have administrative offices and trauma-informed coaching offices in the back half of the building as well. And we're trying to operate in the space. We were kind of transient for a few months as we had to kind of move our offices while we were waiting to find a new space. So we just were really anxious to get started. So we're operating while construction is happening. You know, we're on a call. Sorry about the construction noise in the background, but everybody gets it. So yeah, it's going to be a beautiful space. We're located kind of right next to where the old Harbor Hall building used to be. And it'll be open to the public very soon.
How's your funding process for that?
Yes, so most of our funding, we were very fortunate that we received funding from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services this year. They were able to issue a chunk of funding for organizations like us from the recovery, from the healing and recovery funding, which is the state's level of opioid settlement dollars. So that fund, they were able to give us funding. So that helped fund the first phase of construction. We are now looking for funding to support the second phase of construction and building that up as we go. So we have some state funding for that. If you're familiar with grants don't always like to support capital expenses. And after going through this, I understand why, but it's a harder one. You know, programming is pretty easy to find funding and grants for, but the construction process is a lot harder to find funding for. So we are seeking funding, and we have a campaign out called Building Roots of Recovery, where we're trying to get the community buy-in into our space and get some community support and donations for that as well.
Opioid funding applications will be out probably late September, so we'll be able to look forward to that.
Perfect.
Any questions for Kate? Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to switch gears through all that.
Now move on to the administrative report.
My report tonight will be brief. I gave you the staffing report. You'll see up front we have 3 positions open: EMS as a paramedic, corrections officer, the data specialist for our GIS department. You can see the hires. We've been hiring people, and that's good. We're getting people applying for our jobs. Construction Resources Department that oversees our building, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing inspections. We'll see July was down a bit from permits over last year, but overall this year we're about a 1% increase. So we continue to build in the community and continue to get permits, so that's good to see. FEMA offices are open to the end of this month. If you had any issues with the flooding, we please ask you to go to the Lansing Fire Department Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. There is staff there to help you with any recovery you might have from flooding that happened earlier this spring. Locks are open. Water levels are finally to normal levels. It's only taken us till July 20th to get to that point, but that is good news that water levels are finally down. Big week next week. It's the Emmett County Fair. We've got a lot of events going on, and if you drive by there right now, you'll see the setup going on right now. Tuesday night, and Tuesday is really the opening day. Carnival rides open up at 4 o'clock. We've got a cornhole tournament Tuesday night, Travis Tritt, big concert on Wednesday night. I think we're about 1,600 tickets sold for that. We have the rodeo on Thursday night. We have almost 1,800 tickets sold for that, so the grandstands will be filled. That's a new event this year. Monster trucks are back on Friday night, autocross, and all the activities of 4-H will be going on. I did include in there a schedule of all the events, so if you're interested in what's going on in the fair, you can look on our website, and there's a whole list of activities that 4-H has, all the animals and everything that goes on. If you've not been to the fair, we please encourage you to go out there and enjoy your time at the fair. That is my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Boyer? Mrs. Gibson, the financial report.
All right, well, this report shows now we're halfway through 2026 already. It's hard to believe. We're currently at 11% of our revenues, which is to be expected. because we don't start receiving tax dollars until July, August. So we'll start seeing that climb. Our expenditures are at 34%, and we have a lot of capital projects that have been going on. Just for the month of June, we spent $1.3 million on capital projects. So our facilities and assets, Dave Analik has been very busy with all these projects. And other than that, we are doing really well for this time of year, and I have nothing else for my report. Any questions?
Questions from Mrs. Gibson? Thank you. Our next item on the agenda, since we have no unfinished business, are the claims for committee and travel vouchers.
Would you like a motion?
Please.
I move I move for the payment of the claims in the amount of $4,225,965.90, and for the payment of the committee and travel vouchers in the amount of $6,678.72.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call please.
Commissioner Coates?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Ginnup?
Yes.
Commissioner Mapes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yes.
Commissioner Lockwood?
Yes.
Motion carries. We're now into new business. As I did at the earlier part, I amended the agenda. And so our first item will be the data center deferral resolution. Mr. Boyer, are you starting this off?
Timmy, do you want to turn over to the planning administrator? And we will jump in and turn to Steve. John, will help us out too.
Thank you, Chairman and Board. Over the last several months, 9 months was mentioned, our department has been reviewing with the Planning Commission zoning ordinance text amendment, which is for commercial storage operations. And during that time, we had several people come in and talk to the Planning Commission about data centers and the desire to prohibit data centers in our county or severely limit them and where they could go. So over the course of that time, we at the Planning Commission level have reviewed some documents that were prepared by our legal counsel, and we plan to go into closed session to talk about that in September. We've also reviewed information prepared by our planning and zoning consultant with regard to possible standards to enter into our zoning ordinance. At our last meeting in August, the Planning Commission made a motion to recommend that this County Board of Commissioners consider a resolution deferring reviews and decisions regarding data centers to allow time for the Planning Commission to review our zoning ordinance and make recommendations to this board. That was passed unanimously 7-0 by the members that were present at that meeting. I did want to mention that I received several calls today, and I told these people that I would pass along. They're opposed to data centers in Emmett County. That would be Susan Schulte, Julia Fogarty, Rand Marquardt from Alanson, who supports the moratorium, so-called. John Elke from Petoskey, who's against data centers, and Chris Elke as well. So the recommendation from the Planning Commission is to pass a resolution deferring any decisions or reviews of data centers for a period of time while we can review our zoning ordinance and determine options for regulation or not within the zoning ordinance.
Questions from Mrs. Dorberg?
So, I guess, Tammy, my understanding of this resolution is that we don't have any applications for data centers now, but we want to be prepared for when we do. Is that what
That is correct. I have not been approached.
I understand it.
Yes.
And I also understand that the Planning Commission needs this time, so we're going to pause any applications and reviewing applications until we can come up with some sort of ordinances in effect. Is that, am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Again, Mr. Chair, just very briefly, my mic on?
Red light.
Yes, okay. if the decisions definitely defer, no decisions can be made regarding data centers if you adopt this resolution. That should deter anybody applying, because why would you apply if you're not going to get a decision? But you know, if a party does want to apply and run the risk that they know they're not going to get a decision on it, they can submit an application. The question then becomes, what are they going to submit for? Because part of the discussion is the ordinance doesn't, you know, has issues with it in terms of, does it really apply to data centers? Do we, as a county, have regulations in place that will apply to them? So I would think any potential property owner wanting to submit an application would have that same question, and it would be in their interest to wait until they see what the regulations or where the county is going to come down on this. So to the point about being prepared, yes, need to get ourselves prepared. If you know, if the industry does choose to come to Emmet County, the idea is to get ahead of it and get yourself prepared, get your regulations in place, and not take any action on anybody's requests if they do come along and request it. It says you're not going to take any actions, I'll leave it at that for now, because I just wanted to make that clear in terms of that possibility, I suppose.
So
I think
this
it's
really is a proactive stance that
Yes.
that the planning commission is taking in anticipation of the possibility of applications, and taking the time to figure out the best way to deal with that and to
that's correct.
see where we go with it. Okay.
And if I may really quickly follow up, and
Yeah.
just to kind of maybe help explain this a little bit further, the resolution uses the term defer on purpose, because it's a procedural thing. A lot of people around the state, other communities have used the term moratorium. I'm not sure what they're doing in terms of what they're adopting. This is not called a moratorium. This is a deferral of action. I'd liken it to a procedural action that you sometimes do, which is you defer decisions, sometimes for a month, sometimes for 2 or 3 months, to get more information. That is basically what this is. You're deferring it to a point in the future. It's temporary in nature to allow you to get the information, and in this case, possible legislation, to be prepared to address the issue. So I wanted to put that in context
That
as
whole
well.
process will go through the planning commission.
With a public hearing too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other comments? Tammy, is March 1st enough?
Time will tell. It took a long time to get where we are with commercial storage operations, and we will be asking for additional time this evening, but that was the recommendation of legal counsel.
You don't feel it's extended further out?
Yeah, what I would recommend, and there is some case law in Michigan on, well, the case law talks a lot about moratoriums. This is I think it's a little different. Regardless, the case law talks about as quickly as possible, and as you can't delay action on the legislation because you're dealing with private property rights, right? And that's significant in America. That's important. You're the government, and you're affecting private property rights by doing this. So what the case law says is you have to move fast as you can, under the circumstances. This is a big project, it's a big undertaking, I agree. I recommend starting with 6 months, working as fast as you can, getting as far as you can. And if you can't get there, extend it for another 3 or maybe even a 6-month period, depending on where you're at that point. Take the temperature again. We really try to keep it within a year as best we can. I recommend starting with a year. Just keep the pressure, keep it moving. Show if there is a court review of this for some reason, and I hope there's not, I don't expect one, but if there is, we want to be able to show the court we are moving fast as we can.
And Mr. Chair, if I might, we have been providing information to the Planning Commission over the past several months so that they are equipped with some background, and we will be talking with legal counsel on certain specific aspects that were brought up during the public meetings that we've held.
questions? If not, what's the commission's pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move that the Emmett County Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution temporarily deferring and postponing decisions regarding the data center usage until March 2027 as presented.
Motion is second. Any discussion on the motion?
So Chair, so I've had overwhelming contact with constituents this week, emails and phone calls and whatnot. People in opposition to data centers in Emmett County. I haven't heard one person that's contacted me that said I want a data center. And usually when we have something that brings a lot of public interest to this board, I hear people that have one idea and another idea. So I see this motion as the best way. I would also share the sentiment of all the people that called me this week. And I see this motion as the best way to prepare for what could come to Emmett County. And that's why I support it as a potential. If these things are coming to Michigan, I think we need to be prepared to deal with it.
I agree.
I have another thought. I piggyback on what Matt is saying is that I haven't had anybody contact me and say, yeah, let's do this. Okay, I've had everybody contact me and say no, with an exception. Some of them are saying we need more time to decide and make sure you take time to get it right. This is something we don't want to regret. Decision making. Tammy has done a good job of zoning, as keeping us updated the best she can. She's very busy, and the planning commission is asking for time to make sure we get it right. There's things that we won't be able to do if we wait until the application is filed. So,
Just to clarify, Brett, when you said you hadn't had anybody that contacted you and said, let's do this, meaning you hadn't had anybody contact you and said, let's build a data center.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right, yeah.
All right.
You know, we got people out there that are saying, they're calling me saying, hey, we don't know if they believe everything they're hearing. They want us to investigate it and make an educated decision. But overwhelmingly, as I think the rest of you, it's been anti-data center.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'm at the Northern Michigan Counties Association meeting, and this was a big topic at our last meeting. A lot of the northern counties are dealing with it.
I just, more for the public, because I think you all understand and realize this, but this would impact only those townships that have county zoning. So there's 4 townships that have their own zoning: Resort, West Traverse, Little Traverse, and Pleasant View. And then the cities of Petoskey and Harbor Springs and the villages of Pellston, Alanson, and Mackinac City also have their own zoning. So this would only apply to those townships that have county zoning.
So those townships and cities would have to pass a road laws.
That's correct. They operate under their own zoning ordinances.
Steve?
Just thought it might be helpful to also mention here in this forum that your power to zone comes from the state of Michigan, right? The state, through legislation, grants you the authority to zone. That also comes from the federal government zoning. We're actually at the 100-year anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court decision that said zoning is law. You can zone, you can regulate private property with zoning ordinances. So 2026 is actually 100 years. 150 years before that, there were a lot of arguments saying you can't regulate people's right to use property. So we're 100 years in, and it comes from the state, and it also comes from the federal government. I give that backdrop because right now, I do know that there is some legislation in the state of Michigan and Lansing that is looking at adopting some state legislation addressing data centers. I've also heard, I have not seen, but I heard there's proposals for some federal legislation as well. So your legislators at the county level, but your legislators in Lansing and in DC are considering legislation that is intended to help support and regulate it, that I'll just say higher level, okay? Because they do authorize you to zone. They're looking to establish state and perhaps federal laws that are gonna support regulations at the local level that address a lot of the issues being discussed. Energy, water, noise, and so forth. They're looking at that. So, you know, to the extent there's any communications with your legislators, that's something that you can communicate to them as well, and of course the constituents can as well. Just wanted to mention that.
So then it's necessarily not true that the state could overrule any decision that we would possibly make concerning data centers, because we're allowed to legislate our own zoning as of now, correct?
Well, not tonight, but
No, I know,
yeah.
I've heard the rumors, but probably these are around the country, not necessarily to Michigan, but I thought one was to Michigan where the state overruled on the law.
But that could happen, of course, that where they give authority to you, they can also take away authority or preempt authority, and we've seen that. There's a lot of preemption talk in Lansing and whatnot, preempting local zoning to some extent, and it has happened in some areas. So that is, yes, that is possible. I honestly haven't heard about that. I've heard the other direction where it's legislation to more positively impact and support.
I hope that's the way it goes and we get there before that happens.
Yeah.
I think it happens.
Yeah.
Just
So
curious.
state law would not necessarily supersede whatever we decide to do?
It can.
Not, I'm sorry if I can,
Yes.
not necessarily, but it could. It could.
Yeah, I would expect it would.
What I understand at the state level is it's not intending to supersede, but support
Okay.
and further enable, provide some strength at the state level, addressing, requiring issues like water and energy especially to be addressed properly. So, environmental concerns and things of that nature, and also specifically not preempting. So, but it could happen that they could go a different route and end up taking total control over it and preempting local regulation. And if you had ordinances in place at that point, they would be superseded if they contradicted with the state law. We just don't know what's going to happen. But a lot has to do, as everybody knows, with communication with legislators and whatnot.
So my thought is, all these people came here to talk to us tonight, but it doesn't sound like, we could make, I support the resolution. We'll be voting on that here in a second. But then there's several other governmental entities within our county that this won't be affected by. So all of you need to realize that the decision we make here tonight doesn't cover the whole county. So
It gives a good framework for the other areas.
yeah. So I'm sure they'll probably be following us and what we did tonight.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Loffbaum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding.
Yes.
Commissioner Mapes.
Yes.
Commissioner Ginup.
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Coates.
Yes.
We have put a temporary deferring till March 1st, 2027. Moving on, our second item of the agenda is an EMS ambulance purchase for 2027.
Yes, before you, tonight, EMS has gone out for RFP, request for proposal, looking for a new ambulance, replacing an existing one that is going to be coming out of service. It's already had a remount and it is done with its life. Proposals were out, and McQueen Emergency submitted the lowest price proposal that was awarded. Their cost came in at $319,881 for the truck that is similar to the fleet that we currently have. This is in our 5-year capital plan. As you see that this is going to be in budget 2027. The year, I think we're looking at a year build time. Is that correct? Brian Patton, our EMS director, is here tonight.
Yeah, we're not expecting this to come in until late spring, early summer of next year, which is actually a little bit more ahead of what newer in the pipeline now. If we were to place a brand new order now without going through a process of reaching out with RFP, we'd be looking at 3 years. So this is, thankfully, with administration and everybody, we have a pretty good 5-year plan of how to keep our fleet running and reliable when this kind of
falls within that as far as our adapter, to make sure that happens.
And you see exactly what he says, we're purchasing these a year or 2 years in advance. In budgeting it, the money is there in our capital plan. That way we get it when he needs it.
Any questions for Dave or Brian? If not, we have a motion.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve the purchase of the one new Type 3 ambulance from the Queen Emergency in the amount of $319,881, pending a suitable agreement as determined by the county administrator and civil council, and authorize the county administrator to execute the agreement on behalf of the Emmet County.
Second. Motion and support. Is there any discussion or questions regarding the motion or the purchase? Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Gill?
Yes.
Commissioner Mapes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yes.
Commissioner Loffbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Coates?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the DPW Resource Recycling Systems change order. Mr. Boyer.
Yes, as part of a state regulation, they asked that we create a county material management plan, something that's been in the work, and two of the members sit on the DPW board, so they can also talk about that. We've been working on this plan for quite some time. It's a very lengthy procedure to go through. They are requesting that we do an extension until December. It's up in, until December. It's up in September. We've already done one adjustment to that, and this is fully funded through the Eagle Materials grant that we get. We're looking at extension that would increase the total by $39,600 and hopefully get this plan completed. It would address some of the county's ordinance language and review that to make sure we're in compliance and help with any of the revisions to the final plan that has to be submitted to the state. This was approved by the department's, by the DPW board, and looking for approval tonight to do an extension.
Any questions for Dave before I ask for the motion? Hearing none, anyone wishing to make the motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve change order number 2 with Resource Recycling Systems for continuing materials management plan support through December 31st, 2026 in the amount of $39,600, pending a suitable contract amendment as determined by civil council and county administrator, and authorize the county administrator to execute the amendment on behalf of the county.
I'll second.
Motion and support. Any additional questions or questions on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner Coates?
Yes.
Commissioner Loffbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Mapes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gill?
Yes. Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is the Pellston Airport flat roof restoration.
As you know, we've been spending a lot of money at Pellston Airport remodeling. We did the shingle roofs, and what was left is the flat roof. We did go up request for proposals, about 6,500 square feet of flat roof that is leaking and needs to be replaced. We received 3 proposals. C&I Building Maintenance, Inc. submitted the lowest proposal at $141,440. We have worked with C&I, the DPW. They've done 3 roofs from theirs. They've done good work, and we would like to move forward with the proposal before you tonight. They are asking for a 10% contingency of $14,144 in case any unforeseen damage comes up, putting the total price at $154,584, not to exceed that dollar amount.
Questions?
This money is in our capital plan and is in our budget.
Questions, Mr. Boyer? Is there a motion?
I can make that motion, Chair. I move to approve the Pellston Airport flat roof restoration project with C&I Building Maintenance Incorporated for $141,440 plus a 10% contingency for a total not to exceed $155,000 or $155,584, pending a suitable agreement as determined by civil council and the county administrator, and authorize the county administrator to execute the agreement.
I'll second that. We have a motion and support. Any just further questions, discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Mapes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Coates?
Yes.
Commissioner Loffbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yes.
Commissioner Gill?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes. Motion carries. Next is the consideration of an agreement regarding the purchase property, vacant 10.2 acre portion of parcel 4410-34-400-02 in Pellston.
Yes, the Village of Pellston desires to purchase 10.2 acres of property that we have in Pellston. Is part of a 39 acre parcel that we have in town. What the village is looking at doing is swapping this piece of property that the county owns with the school system to build their water system on site. So the school is looking for another piece of property. The village would take the 10 acres from the school. The school in turn needs 10 acres for a future building site. We've looked at this. Pellston has received a grant for $44 million to put in a water system to address the PFAS in the community, and this is a phase that needs to be completed so that they will be able to start the work and have the property to put these wells on. They have started, they've done test wells there, but this finalizes the agreements, and then the village would own that property and the schools would own the county's property. What? You guys are laughing at me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was feeling low.
Temperature.
Asking if it was just me.
Questions for Dave?
Did you have anything, Steve, you wanted to add on this?
No, I think you covered it, Mr. Boyer, so if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
This is the same property that you reviewed with us.
That's correct, yes.
Any other questions? If not, there's a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to determine that the county's sale or disposal of property policies do not apply to this proposed sale of property, and to approve and authorize the county administrator to, on behalf of the county, one, enter into the real estate purchase agreement as presented between the county and the village of Pellston, involving the sale of the identified 10.2 acre portion of parcel number 44-10-34-400-002 to the village. And second, take such actions as necessary to complete the due diligence contingencies under the said agreement. And 3, upon the satisfaction of such contingencies, attend and execute all necessary or required documents at the closing of the transaction under the agreement. And 4, otherwise take such actions as are necessary to fulfill the county's obligations under the said agreement for the sale of the subject property.
I'll second. We have a motion and support. Any discussion?
Just that I'm really happy to see progress on the Pellston water system.
Yes. As we all are.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments?
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Ginnup?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yes.
Commissioner Loffbaum?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuntz?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Mapes?
Yes.
Motion carries. Our next item is the Emmett County Planning Commission Commercial Storage Text Amendment.
Oh, I don't know what I wanted to start out.
Can I have Tammy come up and give
Sure,
us an
Tammy, give us
overview?
an overview.
Please.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is a project that started in December last year when the Planning Commission was approached by a citizen asking that we review the zoning ordinance regarding definitions and land use regulations for commercial storage facilities. And so, starting in January, the Planning Commission, as directed by this board, has been reviewing the zoning ordinance. We've reviewed other ordinances within the state. We've reviewed recommendations from our planning consultant. The Planning Commission went through different versions of proposed text, line by line, June, July, and 2 meetings in August. And at the special meeting held last Tuesday, the Planning Commission recommended that that this board first adopt the resolution, extend the resolution by 30 days that deferred reviews and decisions regarding commercial storage uses pending completion of the zoning ordinance review and amendment, extending it to October 1st. That motion passed, but it was on a 4-3 vote. They further suggested or made a motion, and it passed on a 4-3 vote as well, to move forward a text amendment to you regarding commercial storage operations, and that was in your packet. Concern that I have is that legal counsel has not thoroughly reviewed what has been proposed both at the August 6th meeting and at the August 11th special meeting. So I would ask that you consider extending the resolution to allow time for legal counsel to review, and then further, legal counsel has recommended that the deferral be longer than just to October 1st to allow additional time in case this board decides they want to send the text back to the planning commission for whatever reason, or if there are other considerations that have to be made. So that those are the two recommendations that came out of the planning commission at their special meeting on August 11th. In your packets, there were compilation of all of the meeting minutes, starting with the August 6th and then the August 11th public hearings, and then going back from December all the way to the July meetings, the public meetings that we held and the public comments that were received throughout that entire process. So that is a 57-page document that was included in your packet online. Hopefully you've had some time to look at that. Something else that we did for the Planning Commission as we were going through the review process was we applied the proposed text to several different existing facilities within our county, and some that are not in our county as well that were provided. We had pictures provided by citizens showing operations in other areas, and so we provided graphics and examples, and those are included as well in the PowerPoint presentations that were included in the packets for you all to consider. So for tonight, the request is for consideration of the resolution that would extend the time frame to allow continued review of this by legal counsel.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, sir.
So, couple things. If we approve the text amendment tonight, could not the legal counsel review it after we approve it tonight? If we were to approve the amended text tonight, could the legal counsel review it after we approve it?
I'd be happy to answer that. Sure. Well, certainly, yes. We could conduct that review, but you would have adopted legislation, and if any part of that zoning ordinance, the ordinance changes need to be adjusted, even a single word, it would have to start all over again, and definitely go back to the planning commission and go through a public hearing process and so forth. Additionally, you know, as you heard during public comment, there are some attorney letters that have been provided. I don't know if they came in today.
Came in today. There was one that came in at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I think all the commissioners got both of them. Clerk has them and will enter that in. There's a lot of questions within both of those letters that need to be addressed and reviewed.
Right.
And I think it's important that we look at this and have a review in place so we can go through this and look at it. There was changes made up until I think the August 14th date. August 11th. I don't know if you've had a chance to review everything. I know our legal department has not, and we would recommend giving time for that review.
So the second question I had was, at the planning commission meeting, special hearing, we put forth recommendations to come to the board, 2 different things. One to defer or ask for an extension, and the other was to approve. Are we not going to even discuss approving it tonight? Is that what I'm hearing?
What we have in there, what we have before you tonight is a deferral so we can have a thorough review of what's been proposed. And then the information that we received today.
So the answer is no, we're not going to do both those. We're just going to do the
I can't
deferral.
say what motion that you could make. The motion that is presented tonight is for a deferral.
Okay. That's all I have.
Any other questions? Tammy or for Steve? If not, there's a motion before us, and Mr. Moody has mentioned also, so what is the motion someone would like to make?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the resolution extending deferral regarding commercial storage uses as presented.
I second that.
We have a motion support. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say a few things about this. I don't think this should be passed in its current form as presented by the staff. And I'll give you a few examples. Emmett County, in my opinion, is very difficult to do business right now, and a lot of these rules and regulations that are proposed here would make it much more difficult. And my first example here is indoor lighting. This would regulate indoor lighting. The police, indoor lighting. And I don't think we need to start doing that. Lights have one main purpose, and that's safety. Article 2 limits loading docks to 3 per facility. I'm not in favor of that. Subsection 26.30.A makes it illegal to have any storage on land, properties, bordering lakes and rivers. I think that's unreasonable. I think there should be a reasonable setback, and I suggested 200 feet. Subsection 26.30.B.1.C says that storage buildings should be 1 story. I agree with that. But I think the height should be increased from 20 feet per post to 24 feet. The next section, subsection 26.30.B.1.D, limits the total floor space to 10,000 feet. I think that should be doubled to 20,000 square feet. Subsection 26.30.B.2.B has a setback of 300 feet along state highways. I think 150 feet plus the road right-of-way is more than adequate. The next section I want to refer to is 26.30.G.1 screening. Calls for continuous screening for overhead doors over 80 square feet. I think that would create a hardship on business, and I don't want to require all that screening. It seems to me the county is going in a direction of creating huge walls to hide garage doors and buildings, storage building. The next subsection I disagree with is 26.30.G.2.B. Wants people to plant tall trees, 12 feet high. Big trees transplanted when they're that big do not survive well. Point number 9 I want to make is forcing people to build solid walls to hide buildings. I'm not in favor of that. Subsection 26.30.D talks about the fire code, which I'm in favor of. Limiting the storage buildings to 1 story. But it talks about a fire lane needed all the way around the building of 25 feet. I think 20 feet is more than adequate. The next point I disagree with, in 26.42, all storage buildings should be fully obscured from view from public roads and homes. I don't think that's reasonable. Point number 12 I want to make is not allow any sales or servicing out of storage buildings. That would prohibit citizens from working on their projects, selling them in the off season, like for example bolts, and winterizing them. Point number 13 I want to make is having property size of 10 acres or more for storage buildings. I think 4 acres would be reasonable. Setbacks. My next point is requiring a setback of 100 feet. I think 50 feet from existing off-premise dwellings is more than enough. And the last point I want to make is in subsection 26.09.3.8.5, limiting storage commercial buildings maximum size
acreage to 20 acres. I think 10 acres is more than enough. I don't think the lot has to be 20 acres or more in size. 10 acres should be enough. I think this storage thing needs more review, more work done on it, and I'm very much in favor of extending this out a little ways so we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to address some of those. Although I don't know what the use is to address them tonight, but the lighting that he's speaking of, as far as regulating the inside, they're talking about how much is actually shining out from those buildings, and where that came from was from the examples that the zoning department had showed us for some of their examples. The loading docks, the reason that was limited to 3, we're trying to differentiate the possibility of a commercial warehouse actually being used as a motor freight terminal, which I think you can see that a motor freight terminal would bring in a lot more intensity in traffic, truck traffic. So that's why we went to 3, and 4 loading docks and truck wells would be actually more of the motor freight terminal. As I said many times in the Planning Commission, I think I'd rather sleep next to a commercial warehouse as opposed to a freight terminal. He talked about the size of the building, 10,000 square feet. That's a pretty good size warehouse for inside a commercial B2 district. The 300-foot setback off of the state highway, that was designed, it wasn't just pulled out of the air, that was designed so hopefully that B2 district could also have a business in front of it, which would be a screening for that, as opposed to a solid wall. So that would bring, you could put a dentist's office or something on that regarding that. When we talked about the height, the fire lanes, the story fit right into the 7 concerns that was brought through on the public comments as far as public safety and welfare. It was brought up to me last week, well, you can have a much taller hotel. If you listen to the fire chiefs, a hotel has known causes in it. Whereas a 2-story, 3-story, or a very tall warehouse, you don't know what's stored in that. You could have lithium batteries. You could have very intense fire, and the fire chiefs that come forward worried about their fire safety. So there was a lot of consideration put into this. Some of the comments that I heard from tonight, it wasn't just one business owner that brought these concerns. We had a whole group of people ask us to look at this. And so I really feel like some of us were getting misled just a little bit. We had a whole group of different business owners come forward and talk about the uses of the B2 districts. Tanya here commented about that. Personally, I would think that there might be regrets in some of the resort towns that put all kinds of buildings along the waterfront years ago and now wish they had some better uses of that. And these restrictions were put in this to address what we might need in 5 years, as opposed to having storage units all the way down our business corridors. Personally, I was willing to put forth a motion to approve the text amendment as sent up, but I guess we can't do that. So here I am. This was not a half-baked idea. We've been working on this for months. Some people didn't get involved into it until the 3rd or 4th month. But that's not on any fault of the Planning Commission.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Mapes,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Coates,
Yes.
Commissioner Loffbaum,
Yes.
Commissioner Gooding,
No.
Commissioner Ginnup.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes. Motion carries. Mr. Ginnup has asked for a short break, so we'll take a 5-minute recess. Our appointments, the first is Advisory Committee on Aging Resignation. We need a motion to accept Martha Lancaster's resignation. So, the motion and support? Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next, we have a Veterans Affairs Board resignation from Ryan Batchelor. Need a motion to accept Ryan's resignation. A motion to support. I'll support. Support. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Now, Veterans Affairs, we have an appointment of Casey Nowicki or Sherry Marshall. What's the pleasure?
Aren't those reappointments?
Chair, there's actually, Sherry Marshall's a reappointment.
Okay.
And then there's an additional opening due to Ryan Batchelor's
Okay,
resignation.
so Casey and Sherry are reappointments?
Casey is not currently on the board.
Casey's currently not on.
But he would be a replacement for.
We have two
Correct.
spots.
If you choose to.
So do we have a motion to approve Sherry Marshall's reappointment?
Also,
Support.
I'll support.
Motion support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Is there a motion to appoint Casey Nowicki to the Board of Veterans Affairs?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and multiple support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have Courtney Graham, just a reappointment.
Yes, sir.
We have a reappointment of Courtney Graham to the Historical Commission. Is there a motion to reappoint?
I move to reappoint Courtney Graham to the Historical Commission.
And I'll support.
We have a motion of support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is our appointments. We're down to communications. Are there any other communications besides the 2 attorney letters that we received?
No, those were submitted to the clerk and will be available.
They'll be in the record, is that right? All right, committee reports. Mr. Lochbaum, start us off.
Okay. I attended the regular meeting, the Emmett County Planning Commission here, August 6th, 7 p.m. There was a lot of discussion on the storage text amendments, Articles 2, 8, 11, 14, 18, and 26. The first hearing, some talk about the master plan, a lot of talk about data centers, especially from the audience. And we called a special meeting for August 11th here, 7 p.m. I attended that meeting also. There was a lot more talk on commercial storage text amendments for those articles I mentioned already. A lot more talk about data centers. On Tuesday, July 28th, at 9:30 in the morning at the Pellston Airport Terminal Building, I attended the airport committee meeting. And we heard from a member of the public, his name was Scott. We approved the minutes from the previous June 23rd meeting. We learned that passenger arrival and departure was down 11% this year from last year. We also talked about projects that need to be bid out if they're over $25,000. The taxiway project is in progress right now. We received a new runway sweeper and snow blower. And after the meeting, we went over and inspected those. And those are 2 very big, impressive machines. They were made by the company that used to be called Oshkosh, out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. They are famous for very rugged, dependable equipment, but not operator friendly. The company has been taken over by a company called NB now, and they are trying to make their equipment more operator friendly. And the next meeting here is next Tuesday for the airport, at the airport conference room upstairs at the airport. That's also at 9:30. That's on Tuesday, August 25th. And then I attended the Paradise Lake Improvement Board regular meeting August 12th up in Carp Lake, the Township Hall. And we heard correspondence. We had a Gmail from Jackie Cameron. She wanted to know what chemicals are used in Paradise Lake to control the weeds. And the answer was 2 different ones, Duquat and Placebo Core. We heard the treasurer's report. We have a balance up there of $161,582. And I might mention one more thing about these chemicals and these weeds. They are very selective herbicides. We do not kill good weeds, only the bad weeds that we're trying to get rid of. And they are approved by the EPA. There was a lot of talk about the audit. We've done an audit every year for several years. And each audit costs $7,000. And the auditor that we've been using, Rasmussen from Petoskey here, is no longer able to continue in that capacity. Our chairman, Paul Tyke, spoke to Dan Smith out of Sheboygan. He said that by state law, we do not need to do an annual audit anymore. And that he suggested we, for what few invoices we have, we just keep a hard copy in the office, and they are available for inspection by the public. And the lake was treated this year. 69 acres were treated for the milfoil weed very successfully. That cost us $47,495. And the survey done after that showed that there was a high rate of kill, very successful, and very few weeds are left. And there will be no need for a second treatment this fall, as it's needed sometimes. And at the close of the meeting, one of the members, Arden Walkley, that's been on the board for many years, and also is our Emmett County Drain Commissioner, expressed a concern with an old dam on Paradise Lake. I did not know there was one up there. I'm not sure where it's at. It's maybe in Sheboygan County, but he said it's old, and he's concerned about the condition of it. And he said if that dam gives out, that it would be very bad for Paradise Lake. He's very concerned about it. And we decided to cut our meetings down next year from 4 down to 2. They will be May 12th and August 11th at the Township Hall up there. They all start at 7 o'clock. And if we need to add one more meeting, we will. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Whitty?
Mr. Lofbaum took care of the Planning Commission report, and I do not have a zoning Board of Appeals report, as I did not attend the appeals hearing.
Right.
I attended the Board of Health meeting on August 4th. I'm going to let Matt do the report on that one. I was unable to attend the August 6th meeting of the DPW. The Solid Waste Committee meeting on 8/11 was canceled. We're still waiting for information to come back from the state on that. Road Commission meeting on the 13th of August. They discussed M119 guardrail installation. They're looking to award a bid on that later this year, and that's not anything to do with the road collapse, but that's other sections of guardrail on the windy curve section part. They discussed policy 100-021, which is a bidding procedure allowing the threshold to rise from $75,000 to $250,000. They discussed and approved Brent to sign the annual certification of employment conditions, and also they discussed large truck purchases that are upcoming. We're looking to get rid of trucks that are over 20 years old in their fleet, and they currently have 3 of those left. By the end of August, Click Road Bridge will become a 1-lane until they're able to rebid and repair that bridge. They also announced that all bridges over 20 feet long will be re-inspected. Big Bluff's had a meeting this morning. They're holding steady with occupancy at 85%, mainly because they're still experiencing staff shortages. They can't find good people that want to work or won't work nights. The hospital's their main source of competition for nurses, and the college is the main source of nurses, but they can't graduate those fast enough. And the waiting list is growing. They were notified last week that starting October 1st, the state and federal reimbursement was changing, with the feds no longer contributing and the state changing their formulas. So they're scrambling right now to figure out what their income is going to look like for the rest of the year. That takes effect the 1st of October. They continue with their strategic planning. They had good discussions this morning regarding who they serve, services they provide, capacity to serve, and what the future holds. And that is all I have for reports.
Thank you. Mr. Gitta?
I attended on August 13th the TAC meeting for the communication for our 911. And it was quite a long TAC meeting talking about getting closer to making everything go live with this new software and equipment. And one of the big things was they're turning off in 30 days the modems that are not registered through 911. So there may be some, and all of the agencies know this, but there may be something that got missed. So we're working forward to moving along with this. So other than that, that was, and then I went to the meeting yesterday, but I'll let you give that report for the board meeting.
That's your report?
Okay.
Yep, that's my report.
Just adding on to Chuck's, there are 4 after-hour gates that are used by pilots, and I guess 4 of them, of the 4, 2 are working better than the other 2. We found out that we're going to be updating those gates to Johnson Controls, or we're moving away from Johnson Controls, and we got a quote for $20,500 to update those gates with the new company. The committee did recommend to install cameras on all those gates. DPW was held August 6th. Jana let us know that DPW was fully staffed. The tip-off project is being delayed until September or October, just to let the traffic come through. The traffic flow RFP is due in September along Pleasant View Road. The roof project part 2 is currently going on with Summit Roofing. Lansing ground site is staying at the fire hall, but is being moved to the south of its current location. The RFP for the 2 open top roll-off containers is due on August 24th. Eagle will be shooting an educational video on the life cycle of an aluminum can at the transfer station. So that'd be kind of cool. State of Michigan. So the Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day is scheduled for August 22nd. There'll be additional signing at the entrance to direct traffic onto the exit lane to the right. Janice said the prices of recycled materials are starting to rebound. Parks and Rec was held Tuesday, July 7th at the Headlands. Ryan announced that they hired Mike Casey as Camp Petasiga Park Manager. Michael was a park ranger at Petoskey State Park. The Crooked Lock is now fully staffed, but we will be losing a few of those to college in the upcoming weeks. Both revenue expenses were down for 2025, but the Parks and Rec is doing very well. A local roofer started the repairs on the T-bar roof at the fairgrounds, and the wind damage that occurred in November should be completed in the next couple of weeks. I hope they're done.
It's done.
The electrical upgrade is close to being done.
It's done.
It's done. Okay. Gibson Excavating started the capital project repairing, realigning the water,
Done.
and electric and gray lines. There were 7 events at the headline with over 500 people attending those events. The Lights Out Challenge was to take place August 12th with the peak of the Perseid meteor shower. There were 521 reservations in July at Camp Petasiga. Staff was able to install 5 more pro turf pads at the disc golf course. Staff will be doing the final 8 at the end of the season. Crooked Lock at the time was 2.5 inches above normal. No fair, we're going to meet next week. Michigan Association of Counties, Northern Michigan Counties Association. We held our meeting at Roscommon County in Zoom on August 17th. I attended via Zoom. Representative John Roth was present, and he heard that townships in his district are concerned about the new zoning law and do not have land split ordinances. Jeff Lawson, County Administrator from Sheboygan, gave a presentation on county-wide zoning. Dina gave an update on the budget. Senate and the House gave a bunch of amendments, or gave the House a bunch of amendments. The House will act on the final budget next week. Discussion ensued on consumers' energy selling the dams to a third party. And the next October meeting is going to be held touring a data center down in Grand Rapids area. So I think I might attend that. The meeting was held, the Transportation Asset Management Council meeting was held via Zoom. I attended that remotely. They also had it in Lansing. Council reviewed the data coming in from road agencies through the state. We also reviewed the priorities for the agencies to concentrate on for 2027. And we discussed agenda items for the state meeting that is coming up along with the Water Asset Management Council in Livonia. And that is my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Coates.
Thank you. Brian, I'd like to confirm that the disc golf pads, tee pads at the turf pads have been very well received by the disc golf community. They're doing a great job. So anyway, the Board of Health met August 4th. The board received the annual report for 2025 from the health officer. Highlights included food safety inspections, the SEAL Michigan program, which provides dental sealants to children through school-based preventative care, the breast and cervical cancer control navigation program, which provides free or low-cost cancer screenings, and the school health team, which provides various important health services to students. We also approved bills and employee expenses as recommended by the Finance Committee. There was nothing regarding the termination of the contract with Dental Clinics North on the agenda, but the process of moving to in-house management of dental clinics is moving forward. I continue to hear from many individuals at the end of July and early August who are concerned about the new situation. The Community Corrections Advisory Board met August 13th. We received the fiscal year 2027 state grant award update. There was a significant grant reduction, approximately 50%, with an approved budget of $65,000. Grant funding was approved for the same programs we have currently, which include cognitive life skills, pretrial supervision, praxis assessment, and substance use testing. The state recommended use of local funding sources like PA2 funds and opioid settlement funds to make up the difference. The state has offered an option to apply for more grant funding mid-year if needed, so we'll see how all that works out. And the board approved the fiscal year 2026 third quarter report as presented. That's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Coates. My reports, I'd like to thank Commissioners Lofbaum and Gutowski for the airport report, and also Commissioner Mapes for the road commission. Area on Aging of Northwest Michigan met in Traverse City on the 6th. They passed the multi-year 2027-29 update, which we addressed, and also had an annual Code of Ethics Conflict Declaration that we had to sign with board members, and we had an annual fraud, waste, and abuse training, which is required by the state of Michigan. We received a presentation on caregiver case management program presentation, and a program that Area on Aging has, which is you can contact them and they have respite for caregivers. They say many people take care of family members, spouses, and the caregiver needs to have a break as well as the person that they're caring for. And Area on Aging has a program that they can address that. As Commissioner Ginnep said, last night we met for a very short meeting of 911. Main action item, we have a new finance director, top person. We were lucky to get her. That put the budget together for us, Mrs. Gibson. There was discussion, and the operating budget for 2027 was approved, with work is continuing on the capital process. I'm happy to say that all three counties are working together to get things going. So we had two other action items: a hexagon change order number 7, which is basically changing the name of a provider from one to another, and then we had a request to go to the U.S. bank card away from Fifth Third, which is what we approved last meeting, I think. And we were out of there in half an hour. Deferred compensation board met on July 29th. We got our second quarter fiduciary investment review. We're still doing very well with our investments in the review. The other item was a 401A plan restatement, which will come to the board in October or November to be adopted. I would comment that on July 29th, we had our first ever budget workshop for 911. I thought that was worth noting. Airport, Parks and Rec. And that is my report. We're now to our second public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board? Ms. Meridian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, again, commissioners, staff, and the remaining public. Just a few comments based on some of the comments that were made this evening. First of all, I'd like to say with Mrs. Baldwin's comments about the B2 general uses, that's a truth. We need areas for that kind of stuff. But I've also learned over the years that there can be more than one truth to a situation. And the other truth is small businesses are dying. And you look at the city of Petoskey, they have empty storefronts. We have empty buildings along our corridors. And another truth to that is the type of growth we're getting, they might be small businesses, but what are we considering small businesses? Are they Taco Bells? Are they credit unions? What are they? And so we have market demands, and the market, that's another truth. The market dictates uses. Another truth, people have property rights, and these property rights have been around for a long time. And when we have drastic changes, it does have adverse effects on people. So that's one item. The second item, I'll clear up the whole data storage thing. Two different animals, right? I mean, we know, I don't know enough about data storage right now, but it's obviously a concern. It's a huge impact use. Commercial storage, commercial warehouses, self-storage. It's, I think, I don't need to say it, it's a low impact use. They are two different animals, apples and oranges, right? Simplicity. I do appreciate the fact, although I would prefer that we just allow the existing document to continue to live. I appreciate the fact that we're going to have a period of time to further review. I hope that that allows stakeholders at the round table, not just 3 minutes. And lastly, to clear up any concerns of misleading information or comments. It's in your packet, it's in the documents. It's a fact. There was one person who spoke on behalf of the request in the December meeting. It's in your documents. It's a fact in your documents that in January, the Planning Commission made a recommendation to this board. That was all the discussion. It's a fact that in February and March, there was no discussion of anything more than a moment or two as staff was compiling information during January, February, and March so that dialogue could start. And it's a fact that when that took place, starting in April, I've been to every meeting along with multiple meetings at this table. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Yes, sir.
David McBride, a almost 50-year resident of Emmett County, business owner. I have one clarification I'd like to get, and then I want to speak on a totally different subject. Is the deferment just to review the proposed amendment, or is the deferment to allow the amendment that's been proposed to get remodified and changed over the next 2 or 3 months? The way I read it,
Could be all of them.
Well, because you've got something you're going to present to the legal counsel, and then they're going to make a motion, or they're going to review it. And
My understanding is they're going to review it.
okay, and then they'll present it to you, the review to you, to your board. So there won't be any more planning commission meetings on this.
Unless the attorney recommends it go back to the planning commission.
Okay, so we're waiting then for the attorney to kind of guide the ship.
That's what we asked for tonight, correct?
Okay, I just need some, this is a little new to me, and I just want to make sure that how everybody presented it, that they agreed on that. Switching gears completely. Don Mapes brought up something about Bay Bluffs. I'm the chairman of the Friends of the Hospice of Little Traverse Bay, and many of you know that I led the cause to save the Highland Cottage. We pivoted, and thanks to Lisa Ashley and so many great people in this community, we were able to provide the resources to create those services at Bay Bluffs. And I want to thank everybody in this community for supporting those services, because end-of-life care is very important to everybody. And I'm so proud to be a member of this community, and we're going to continue to support Bay Bluffs. We've got a lot of creative ways that we're going to do it, but I just want to bring that out into the light that things are happening that you might not know, but they're positive things, and there's a lot of support for it. So thank you, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for that update, appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
I'm sorry, just one point of clarification. Commissioner Lofbaum indicated that the draft presented to you for the text amendment was staff presented. This was not staff presenting, it was the planning commission on a 4-3 vote that presented that draft to you. So I just wanted to make that point of clarification.
Anyone else? Why don't you pass the flat roof and leave, don't
I think it was a hamstring one.
Yeah, I think it was.
Hearing no other public comment, the next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held September 14th, 6 p.m. September. Here in the Board of Commissioners room, 200 Division Street. A motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A second? Motion second, we are adjourned.